Hi, good morning. Coming to you today is Tina Bradford, one of the national coaches here, and I have my co-host,
Starlet Johnson.
and we're here just to answer your questions. So we'll start off first. If you came here to have something answered and you have something on your mind that you need help with, drop it in that little question box on that lower right-hand side and chat with us. Let us know what you need help with. We will go in and we will check up with you guys, answering questions along the way as we go. So we do have, let's start off and bring up. Oh, I just want to check with you guys. Can you hear and see the screen? The screen should be white and blank. And you have Tina with you. Yep, perfect. Thank you, Gary and James. You guys responded quickly. So let's bring up the phone. And this is what we were looking at to start with. And my phone will not show. Just playing with the screen really quick. Here's what I'm going to do. I see what's going on. Here we go. Now we should be. This computer is not working with us today. I think I'm dragging it too high, so we're just going to only drag it part way. There we go. Okay, let's bring this phone over. Now it should show. And here's what we are looking at today. And let's see. Tim and Jack, if you guys could please make sure you're paying 100% attention today. James wanted us to check in with you and make sure that that's taken care of. So make sure you're paying attention. So today we have a presentation. We're doing a refi, but we're going to show you guys the reinvestment strategy. So going into summary, we already have like the interest rate highlighted and the payments highlighted. But we're going to build that summary. I will show you right now we have it blank, but at the end of the presentation, it will all be in there. Not going to explain the windows as much as just show you guys where we're at. Because at this point, hopefully, you guys should all be understanding how to read it to your clients. And if you're not, definitely let us know. Star loves to be on camera. So let us know, and we'll have Starlet on camera for us.
That's not true, guys.
So here's the closing cost. And I am on the Edge Live right now, so if I was talking to you and you were on your own phone, then we would be able to highlight it, and I could show you guys if I could see the tiny little screen I'm working on. I could highlight the individual numbers, and I'm fat fingering it is what we call here, because we're on the tiny iPhone. And maybe the prepaids, because they're the same. And then if we did have reinvestment strategy, this is where we would have it in here. So this is what Star and I talked about working on today. So going back, monthly payments. And again, highlighting whichever one we think is the most prevalent or relevant to our customers. I will show you on this one, the current shows as 0 because that is the one we were comparing it to. So it's $89 more than the current, or $222. So moving into more information, it's a complete breakdown. And back from there, short-term savings. And if I was driving it live, I might go through and just tell them, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I think you should know. I'm going to highlight the numbers that should be most relevant to you. After I'm done, go ahead and talk it with your spouse or whoever the other decision maker is. And I'll give you guys a phone call in about half an hour so you guys have time to discuss it. But make sure you put that call to action in there so you know that your client is going to be ready for your phone call, but you also know that you're following up with them. So if you give clients expectations, they live up to your expectations. One of my successes in the business was that clients always knew what to expect from me. They knew I checked in with them every Friday. I made a phone call to every client I had in my database just to tell them where their loan was. Even if their loan did nothing, I still made that phone call because I wanted to make sure that the clients felt like they were in touch. I also made a phone call to all my realtors. And Reinvestment Strategy is great if you have CPAs that you're working with. This allows you to show how you can use that CPA to advance their net worth. So again, just showing on here. So what we're going to do is my fabulous star is going to come over and she is going to help us out and work on this presentation. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit more. There we go. So Star, if you want to come on over.
Thank you, Tina. Hi, guys. So I'm happy to be co-hosting with Tina today. So as she mentioned with you, you have those downloads. So if you do not have the Mortgage Coach mobile app downloaded on your phone, we highly suggest that you do. So whether you have an Apple phone, you go to the Apple Store. Whether you have a Android, you'll go to the Google Play Store to get that app downloaded on your phone so you too can walk your customer through the live experience. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to build on the wizard. Now, by going to the wizard, I suggest that you do is always bookmark or add this address to your favorite so it's easy accessible with accessing the system. So you would go to edge.mortgagecoach.com, entering your email and password that you would use to authenticate yourself to access the system. So here's my dashboard here. And now I want to start building. So maybe I have a new client that has a mortgage that we want to refinance. To my scenario here that was shown was a rate and term. So my customer doesn't want to pull out any cash, more of a rate and term with reducing the interest rate and increasing the cash flow. So I'm going to start a new client here and I'm going to start building. So Mortgage Coach is very intelligent. So we only ask you the questions that's needed to produce a great analysis. So my customer is Debbie. Her last name is Bowie. And let's see here, Bowie. Now there's no co-bar on this transaction. If you have a phone number for your customer, you can definitely insert that in that area. Debbie is my customer and she does own. If you're working with a realtor partner, like Tina mentioned earlier, and you want your realtor partner to also be included in the transaction, well, actually not for this one because it's a refinance. So just retract that statement.
Take it back.
Yeah, take that back. But work with your realtor partners for new business purchases. Okay, so now we have the important information, first and last name and phone number. But what's important here is the friendly name. So if you are accessing this record in the future, you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing with your customers at all times when you go to review that particular presentation again. So this is a refinance with reinvestment options. So this is what we're going to talk to you about and show you how to position those reinvestment options with your customers. Now you can either advance forward by arrowing to the right, or you can just jump into the next tab. So the goal here is to lower the interest rate for my customers. Next is the assumptions tab. So this is a refinance. So what is the property value? The value that we're using today is $350,000. Next, I want to advance forward because this is about the current mortgage details. So let's bring in some of the current mortgage details at this time. So if you have a deed that you've pulled or credit report to see, or a payoff statement, when is the first payment date of that loan? So let's say 01/01/2012. And the original loan amount is not the appraised value today, so $280,000. And then the interest rate the customer currently has is 5%. And their term, 360 months, a 30-year. And the system, as you can see, automatically calculates what the remaining balance should be. However, if you have a current payoff demand, you can always override this number here. But for training purposes today, let's just say this is the remaining balance. And it's a fixed product. So now let me advance forward to move and start implementing the current monthly cost for the customer? Give me 1 second. There's a question in the question feature. So why does the estimated property value carry over to the loan amount? That's a great question. That is an area when you put in your assumptions information for as the property value, it's going to filter over here in the original loan amount. You just need to make sure that you pay attention to that and put what the original loan amount is. So you can't bypass this area. So it will draw your attention here because this is a required area everywhere where it's highlighted in red with an asterisk. So you just need to make sure that you draw attention to there and put what the original loan amount was. So now at this point, we're going to advance forward and enter in the current monthly cost. So the hazard information here is 10208 and the property taxes is 364.58. Give me 1 second. And that's a great question. So the question here is if the customer wanted to cash out, refinance, or they want to cash out, where will you put that information? And we definitely will show you that as I start building. So here, this is the current monthly cost. So 102 for hazard insurance, 364 for property taxes, and there's no MI, so I'm going to advance forward. Now, affordability, this is an emotional point where you can have a conversation with the customer if you wanted to show a deeper financial picture for the customer. But what's important here is I want to also show a tax benefit for my customer. So I want to show the tax implications of the benefit of writing off the property interest. So if you do not know what the customer's tax bracket is, nor does the customer, you can select Find Tax Bracket. We route you to a quick link, and all you need is 3 pieces of information, one being the annual gross salary, the filing status, and the tax year. So let's just say that my customer is in a tax bracket of 25%. So now let's advance forward. And here is an information where you can ask your customer what would they like to spend, but this is more tailored to a purchase. So let's jump right over to products. Now this is product 1. So I have my information for my current mortgage. I've entered all those monthly details and all of the current parameters based on their loan today. So this is my P&I, principal tax insurance for my current. So now I want to start building my first product here. Now, product 1 is going to be a rate and term, because remember we said there is no cash out. Rate and term conventional, 30-year, fixed. Now, you can name your product name whatever you like. Make sure it stays within 12 characters should you decide to print out your presentation, and try to use acronyms as best as possible. Now, here's the question here. Is this a refinance? Yes or no? It is a refinance. So we want to bring in the property value, the equity amount, the loan amount. Now, say for example, the base loan amount is here because we're not pulling out any monies. I'm going to show you in the final presentation, but if you wanted to increase your loan amount, say you want your base loan amount, you want to include this, maybe another $20,000. All you have to do, and it's cash out, all you have to do is increase this number by $20,000 to implement your cash out that's you're requesting. Now the rate, current rate for my product number 1 is 4.125. And product 1, the term is going to be 30 years, so 360 months. You have to mimic that in months. It is a fixed product. Let's advance forward to get the monthly cost and closing costs on our product 1. So as an originator, what you can do, if you want to group all of your APR and non-APR costs here, you can. But as Tina went into the mobile under the closing cost information, the customer will not be able to hone down on those closing costs and see that itemization. So best practice, we always suggest that you either work from your fee sheet and add your fees manually by hitting add fee, or if you have your fee template set up, you can pull from those. So I'm going to pull from my conventional 30-year fixed refinance. And in my scenario, my customer does not want to bring any cash to close. Tina, when you were a loan officer in the business, how many customers were like, I don't have any cash to close. I don't want no money out of my pocket.
Well, hopefully they had cash in their account. But the majority of people, I mean, you guys know you're originators. Majority of people don't want to pay closing costs. So whether we give them a lender credit to cover it or we add it to the loan, those were typically the two options.
And in my scenario, that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm adding all the fees to the loan. So you can either check this box individually to add the fees to the loan, or there's a box down here at the bottom to ensure that all fees will be checked. So once you do that, you can apply those fees right on to the loan. And now you can see my APR costs and non-APR costs have been vetted out. I want to add prepaid days of interest here. You can add a correct number, whether it's 7 days, 10 days. And because I'm adding all of those fees to the loan, you want to make sure that you add that amount as well, which is $445.65. So let's advance forward and get those monthly cost figures on to our product number 1. So hazard insurance, it is $102.08, and the property taxes is $364.58. There is no MI because we can see here that it is under the threshold, but my customer does want impound, so I want to collect just 2 months of reserves and also a 4-month reserve for property taxes. Now, to move on, I would normally arrow to the right, but what I want to do is go back to the left, and I want to go back into the closing costs. But because I added those monthly costs, I just want to check my figures once more to make sure that those taxes and insurance are also being added to the loan. So you see, I want to make sure that all boxes are checked when you add something. So apply that right to the loan here. Now I can advance forward to the right. And now at this position, I want to add my second product. So we have our rate and term 30 years. So let's add our rate and term 25 year. Because if the customer did nothing, the customer will pay off their loan within 24.83 years. So I want to do a 25 year so it can also be comparable. So this one is a rate and term. And this will be a conventional as well, 25 year. And this is a fixed as well. Is this a refinance? Yes, it is. Instead of going through all of those steps again, what I want to do is utilize my copy from feature. So I'm going to copy from the product I just built, my rate and term 30 year, and just do a little bit of editing here. So when I mean editing, I'm going to keep the rate the same, but the term is different. So I need to mimic a 25 year by changing this to 300 months. Advance forward. Because I'm using the copy feature, my closing costs also copied over for me nicely. If you're going to change any of your fees, you would go into closing cost details to make that edit. And then also my monthly costs copied over nicely for me now as well. Now remember, I have the ability with accessing Mortgage Coach, you can compare up to 4 products simultaneously. Now you can build 4 products, but when you are working with a current, it's in essence 5. So it's the current mortgage is not counted, so I can have 4 comparable products, including the current. So now that I'm done here, let me move over to the analysis area. Now, the analysis area, you as a lending professional can determine what is the property appreciation rate. You can move these needles here based on the home being in a certain area or region. And then the short-term analysis. So this will mimic the CD or the loan estimate, but maybe it may not align with the customer's financial needs. So you can always move the needle here. You can see it below the short-term analysis. Also, graphs will change as you make those adjustments. Next is the short term. So I want to keep this at 60 or 71. And the long-term analysis here in years. So maybe the customer says, I want to do a rate and term now, increase my cash flow, but maybe in 10 years, once my son graduates from college, I want to downsize, or I want to sell, or I want to move up, or whatever the case may be. You can always change the needle of the horizons. And your monthly benchmark is automatically defaulted to the current mortgage because this is the highest cost product. So if the customer was to elect a 30-year rate and term, their cash flow would increase by $222 or $89 for a 25-year. So you can show your customer the savings in the blue graph, but maybe it may motivate them to say, hey, you're paying $89 more than a 25-year, and you're paying just a savings of $133. So what would you like to do? What's going to motivate you, Mr. and Mr. Barr? So I'm going to leave it at current. And here's your short-term analysis based on your horizon here. And here is the long-term impact. So you can either change to total principal paid, total net worth, or total interest and MI. I want to show my customer total interest. Now I want to show you the final presentation and see what it looks like. And then I want to have Tina go back into the reinvestment and show you how to implement those savings in either the reinvesting back into the principal, putting it into a savings portfolio, or maybe an investment portfolio. So I'm going to jump to contacts really quickly here and show you. You can put in your email here. So let me just say Debbie@msn.com. And she lives at, since it's a refinance, I do have a property address. So I want to disclose that on my presentation here. So she lived on Bluegrass Lane. And she lives in the city of Orange. Let me capitalize that. And that's in California. And let me just insert a zip code here. Now, one of the cool features here, the property address is shown on your final presentation, not the mailing address, but because this is a refinance, you can copy right from the property address and you don't have to reinsert that information. Pretty cool. Next, here is where you need to select your presentation. So we want to see a total cost analysis, so that's great. Here are our two products that we're comparing. Always make sure you clean up your payment notes. Taxes and insurance are included in my scenario. So taxes and insurance are included in my payment here. Anywhere there's two asterisks in front of the pity payment, the customers will see your tandem payment notes. Now let me hover over presentation here, and what I want to do is jump to preview. Make sure you add your quote date. Anytime rates are being published, protect yourself by adding a quote date. So let's add today's date. You want to generate your link. Let's generate that link. This is where you can hit add audio and video. So always make sure that you add audio and video to your presentations. So here's where you would hit add audio and video. We will show you that a little bit later after Tina gets those reinvestments on your final presentation. But this is what the final presentation looks like. Now, if you wanted to show your customer, if you take $122 of this amount and reinvest it into your principal, this will in turn reduce your freedom points. So Tina's going to talk about that. So to do that reinvestment strategy, you have to be in the wizard. You have to be within the analysis area and under the reinvestment strategy tab. So this is where I'm going to hand it off to Tina. Go ahead, Tina.
Thank you, Star. And we did have a question. Mark asked if we have recorded webinars on how to sell individual parts of the analysis. What we do is we actually have strategies. We have like a buy-up buyer. We have what other strategies?
We have other strategies for us when it comes to investments, like an MI strategy. Also, when we go through our today's presentation, we'll show you how to breadcrumb to our knowledge base, which is our support center, where we have video assets available where you can revisit some of those strategies. So we'll talk about the reinvestment strategies and we'll point those out for you, Mark.
Great. What I do want to show you before I go into the reinvestment strategy is I want to go back here to assumptions, because I want to add that they do have savings in their savings account. And the reason why I want to show that is because I want to show you guys where it will be placed. So savings balance, I'm going to put that they have 10,000 in here just because I want you guys to see how it works and comes into play. And let's say they make, we're going to be very conservative, 2.5% on that 10,000. So going back over here to the analysis, and we're going to go into the adjust reinvestment strategy. Few people you want to make sure you have on your side. You want to make sure that you have CPAs. CPAs are fabulous clients for a couple of reasons. First of all, CPAs typically know when a family is getting divorced. So you might think of that as a bad thing. However, when they get divorced, likelihood that they're selling their house is huge. So that might be a group where now you have two purchases, and this reinvestment strategy might come in because you're working with that CPA, and that CPA will send you over to your investment person, whoever you're working with there. So we're going to go in here, and the monthly savings is automatically calculated for you. It's in this top section right here. So you know on this loan you're saving $221.65. You could say, okay, let's go in and let's apply that whole $221.65. Once you tab off, you'll see Freedom Points, which is when you're free of that payment, then that goes down. Same thing on this one. We're going to put in the $89.15. And now we have it down as well. So you guys can see that now we're under the number of years that they had previously owed. So this is a great strategy when you have those clients that are like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't want to roll those extra costs into it. I don't want to start all over at 30 years. I mean, we hear all of those complaints all the time, or those excuses. And this is one way that you can show them really easy on the graph how to overcome that. But now let's go, okay, we want to bring the Freedom Points to about the same. So around 25 years. You can play with numbers here. Let's say if we put $100 in, we're at 26 years, so let's put 130. And I haven't played with this. This is actually one that Star built, so I'm doing it on the fly so you guys will see how easy it is. So now we're kind of close. I'm going to put 140. So here we are almost, I'm exactly on the number. So, and then we're going to do that the same here. We're going to bring it over, and let's say we put 70. We're pretty close. 65. No, we're going to have to throw a little less in there. Let's go with 50. Okay, close enough. So now you guys get the idea. Now we have not used all that money. So they're saving money again. But what are they going to do with that money? Down here, you see that 10,000 that they have. And at the end of the, what she have it at, 10 years, they're going to have a larger number because that's showing the interest rate included in here. Now they have two choices. They could continue putting money into that account, which is here. So let's say they threw $50 in that account on this one. And let's say they put 20 on this one. So now you're seeing how that builds in at the 2.5%. But being the person that I am, I kind of like to take risk. And I would actually go in and put any of the leftover money into an account that they're expecting me to possibly make more money off of. So we don't have any balance starting off with, but now I can put the expected rate in here. Let's say my person is telling me they think they can get me probably a 7% return. So I'm going to put that 7% in for the return amount. Now the payment, I'm going to pull any of the amount left over, so about $80 here. And then on this one, I am going to put 40. So now you can see there's a much larger return because of the 7%. Now this is a gamble. This is for probably younger couples that, you know, are wanting to gamble a little bit. If they lose it all, it's going to sting, but it's not going to kill them. So, but if you're working with that client that's older, closer to retirement, you know, putting it into savings or putting in low risk down here is great. And that's why you want to have people on your team. You want to build that team with your realtor, with your CPA, with your investment strategy person. That way you guys can all work together. The other thing is, let's say we don't want to put this in. If we decided to take this out, we have a button down here that you can click, and as soon as that payment is down to $12,000, and if you watch up here on that freedom point, then it pays it off automatically. So it brings it down to the balance that you will have here, and then it pays it off. So it lowers that down to that payoff period. So how did you add the savings balance? Okay, the savings balance was added up in the affordability. So once I'm done here, I'll put it up. So we're going to go back. We're going to take this off. I'm going to put it back on the same strategy. So they're looking the same. And we're going to put the 80 here. And that way you can see how it's broke down on the graph. And the 30 on here. So click on OK. And you'll see everything will be. And once you're doing this, you want to show net worth, because that's where you're going to see that strategy. And not until you carry it over or you advance will you see it come into play. So if I advance over, now it saves my work. Coming back, it should be in there. Oh, let's go. She has the presentation up. So now we can see this little spot up here. That's the assets on that top. So you can see they started off with the 10,000 and they have that up here, and then the little part up here as well. So I'm going to go back really quick and show you where I put in that savings just to make sure you know. So clicking on affordability, and I advanced back because it left where I was at. Here we go. Savings balance. What can Debbie afford? It's all in here. You want to put in that savings. You also want to put in the rate of return. So moving over here to the presentation, now you can see where that strategy is. You can see the breakdown, more information. And going into reinvestment, your clients can see exactly how you use their money. So you might want to go through and point out and highlight the amount that you put in here, letting the clients know exactly what the assumption is so they don't have to look around and try to decipher it. You've already highlighted. It makes it nice and easy. Clients understand, okay, it's not going to take me, I don't have to roll back to 30 years. I don't have to go back into the 25 years. So you can highlight the years that you're able to take them down to and show them that, you know what, this is a great strategy where you can pay your loan off early and still build a savings account. So anything else you want to drop in here, Miss Starlett?
No, I think that was fabulous, guys. And I really think that will definitely help you. And by highlighting, as Tina said, really draws the customer's attention to and get those people off the fence who don't want to refi but comfortable with their payment. You can show them how accessing a lower interest rate, how that would help them overall holistically. So I think that was great. So since you threw me underneath the bus and said I like to be on video.
No, you're not.
So I want to show you guys here. Here's your final presentation. And I want to point out in the webinar control panel is a quick start guide. It shows you what are some of the best practices. What are some of the things to do when you are adding video to your presentations? Make sure you do call to action, educate your customers, make sure your energy is high, your videos within 2 minutes or less. So here's some best practices. I'm going to have Tina to walk through with you on the iPhone the steps on how to actually add a video to your presentation using your mobile phone. So we also have that in the handout area for you as well. So once you select your final presentation and you select at the bottom record message, if you have a built-in camera or a webcam on your desktop or on your laptop, as soon as you hit record message, you will now, hi guys, thanks Tina. You'll now be on camera, and this is where you can start educating your customers. So I'm going to move the recorder over here, and I'm just going to stand here like Vanna White while Tina brings in the mobile phone. So you want to trade places?
Oh, you want me double on camera?
Yeah, I want you to be on camera. So all you have to do is hit the record button here to start recording your message. And you'll see at the top, it'll say recording. This is where you can make sure you start driving deep with your customer and educating. One of the best things to do is not call out numbers, but instead maybe call out categories. Please look at the reinvestment options that you have available. Please look at your property value, your loan amount, and etc. So what Tina's going to do is bring up the mobile phone.
If it cooperates.
And what you need to do, you'll be on your dashboard. So can you show them on the dashboard on their phone?
Okay, one moment.
Oh, the phone is hidden. Okay, so we're going to get that adjusted for you guys.
Let me move it off. We're going to readjust our screen.
All right.
I was hiding us.
And I'm going to stand here as a prop for you guys so you can see here.
Vanna White?
Yes, Vanna White. And here is the mobile. So you may want to do video on your mobile because you may like the quality resolution better in the mobile versus on your desktop, or maybe you don't have a camera on your desktop. So what we'll do is from the dashboard, once you log in, you will log in, you'll see your mini dashboard where you can select client records or partner records. You'll select your client. So we're working with Debbie Bowie. And then next, you're going to hit total cost analysis. It's right in her hand, and she's driving as we are speaking. You want to see, you want to do video. And next, Tina, really? Tina would be on the mobile. So you can either drive from your mobile or your browser. And all you have to do is start hitting that record button here. And you can see a counter right there on the mobile device as well. And you can start sharing your message with your customers. When you're done, you'll hit the record button once more. And you would use that fabulous video there. And it will upload for you, convert, so your customers can review it on all channels, their mobile device, their iPad, and also on the computer. So once you're done with that, it's just that simple. So when you're done recording here, you can hit the record button once. It will say your recording is complete, and you have the ability to add video right here on the browser as well. You can also hit the repeat video feature, which is the loop. So when you reach your very last word, thank you very much, have a great day, your video will continue to play in the background. But if for some reason you do not like your video, you have the option to delete by hitting the trash can, and you can erase that video and start over again. And Tina, one of the biggest things that people always say, I don't like the way I look on camera, or you do. Some people don't like the way they look on camera, or maybe they're camera shy or not photogenic. But at the end of the day, how you look in person is how you look on camera. So, and your customers doesn't care if you're having a bad hair day. They just want to hear from you. So make that personal connection. Okay, guys, I'm off camera now, and just want to show you how easy it was. Thank you, Tina, for throwing me underneath the bus with our viewers. So, bye, guys.
We do have a question from Gary. Gary asked about the phone. Yes, when your client gets it, they do need to download the software for the phone, but they do not have to download it if they open it up on a PC. What I suggest is when your clients get it, or when you're sending it over, let them know, first of all, the software is safe, that you are including software for them to download. And second of all, we have optimized our software so it takes up a minimal amount of space. And after they're done with the buying process, that this application easily wipes right off their phone when they delete it.
And that is true. And just to let you guys know that Mortgage Coach, not only in the software using the browser, is very intelligent, but so is the mobile app. So if you decide to either send your presentation via text message, can you show them really quickly? If you send your presentation, it's right here. If you send your presentation via text message or email and your customer looks at it on their mobile phone, they'll click on that link. And when they click on the link, the actual app will search their phone to see if they have the app downloaded. If they do not, the application will prompt them and say, get it now. And then they'll hit get it now. It'll take them to the appropriate store. They'll download it. Once they download and follow the installation prompts, just like they would if they were downloading Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. So once they do that, then it will cookie crumb them back to your presentation. So they can be proactive and download it prior, and they don't have to go through that option. But even if they don't, the phone, the software or the app in the phone will prompt them to get the download now. So let them know that it's absolutely free. It's a free app, so it doesn't take that much space, as Tina said, and that is a way that they can do it as well.
Now we do have a question, cash out refi. When you're doing the cash out refi, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. If you do put in the goal that you want to tap into your equity, you can put that amount in here. The other thing you can do is when you're on your products, you can raise the amount of the loan by the amount that you want to put in. So if I did 20,000, I would increase it right here to the 70. So when they come over to their closing cost, we're going to go up. I want to go up here, and we'll look into the more information. And we show the cash out here. We also show it in the closing cost that there is the 20,000 right here in cash out. And we show it on the front screen, the 20,000 right here in cash out. So hopefully that helps you out, Mark.
And one of the things I said I wanted to show you guys is how to access help. So when you are building and you're anywhere in the wizard, right here, I'm going to go back to my Mortgage Coach screen. And right here in the wizard is a help button. So if you hit help, it routes you right over to our Mortgage Coach Support Center where we have a wealth. Would you say we have a lot of information?
There's a ton of information.
We have frequently asked questions, resources, playlists and scripts, strategies. If you cannot, pretty much, you can find 99.99% of the things that you're looking for. You even have the ability to search via keywords. So keywords, phrase, or scenario. So if you want to know about the reinvestment, you can put in a keyword, reinvestment. So if you want to know about, if I could spell reinvestment, I get so excited here. So if you want to know about reinvestment strategies, you can definitely put in a keyword, phrase, or scenario here. So how do you reinvest the MI? Maybe if the customer has MI and after that cutoff point, taking that MI payment and reinvesting it back into the principal. So that's an option. If you want to know about cash out, we do have a cash out refi. So how do I build a cash out refi? That's there for you. If you need to know about setting up your templates, if those templates are not set up for you, setting up the basics and how do you get those templates? How do I apply my fee templates? So there's a lot of great information for you. And also, if you just cannot find what you're looking for, there is a submit request here. That is routed to our Mortgage Coach support experts. We have them available for you Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and they will answer any submission requests within 30 minutes or less. And I definitely say that we pride ourselves with getting back to the customers and trying to rectify their situations. So that's all about how to get help. And Tina, can you show them about what's going on our monthly event calendar, how they can get all that great help?
I sure can.
They can either go to the website here or hit calendar. So
either here or when you go into the website. And James, just to let you know, you have a property tax, or he has a property tax question. And the thing about the property taxes is escrow is the one that tells you how to pay them. Our system does not show about paying them, only collecting the escrow account money. So that information would not need to be shown in our system because we just collect the reserves and then it's paid out through the system, and the escrow company tells us how much to collect for reserves. So when you're on Mortgage Coach, there's a few different things on here. Here's the apps. If you do not have them downloaded, you can go in there. It tells you how. Definitely throw Rate Watch in there. The Connect has our calendar in here, but I'm not going to show it yet. It also has, if you want to see how some of the professionals, how some of the big hitters read a total cost analysis, that's in there, as well as their samples. And member services, this is our support center, as well as some other information. And you can directly log in here to Mortgage Coach and Rate Watch. But let's go back to calendar. And here's all of our fabulous trainings that our national training team does for you, as well as Dave Savage. He does his Tuesday calls. If you have not listened to one of his Tuesday calls, I totally recommend to start fitting that into your week. Reason why is, as an originator, we roller coaster and we have highs and we have lows as we are producing. He has such great industry people coming in for motivation, for secrets to the business, for how to do presentations, things you might not think about, but definitely after you watch them. And I don't know how he gets these people on here, that he gets these professionals, because they're in need. These are people that the real estate people want to see. Industry people are in need of watching them. So he does a fabulous job of getting great people on there. Mobile Wednesdays. Our goal for 2017 is to have anything you can do on your computer, you can do it on your phone. Right now, if you have an iPhone, the editing feature does work. Go in there, change the price of the loan while you're in the grocery store, and tell that client, look at that link, because that's a dynamic link connected directly. So when you make that change, the link you already sent your client, the link will be there and that change will be there for them. So if they want to find that dream home, you can go in and change that price and show them that new analysis. As well as our Thursday call, questions and answer. I totally encourage you guys, write down questions during the week. We love it when you guys are really interactive with us and you guys come with questions, because then we don't have to do a topic that might not be of interest to you guys. So we would rather be filling your needs, because that's what this call is really about. So that is pretty much all that's on here. If there is anything you guys need beyond what we have covered, again, support at mortgagecoach.com or clicking into that help, and we would be glad to help you guys out as soon and quick as possible. Otherwise, I think if there's no more questions, we'll give you a couple of seconds to ask any more questions that you may have.
And while they're doing that, Tina, I just want to go ahead and launch a poll really quickly. I like polls. What about you?
Polls are fun.
So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll really quick. And if you can answer this as best as possible, it really helps us here as a training team to know if we're hitting some of your training needs, if we're providing you with educational information. And this helps us with our management team as well to make sure that we are delivering what works best for you. So if you could just answer that as honest as possible, it won't hurt my feelings.
It won't hurt my feelings either. But we will try to improve. If you're like, it's okay, or I didn't learn anything, feel free to definitely throw in information in that chat box too to give us feedback. We're always happy to read feedback.
Yeah, because you can't be a good trainer if you don't have tough skin and you're not able to take critique. There's a question. Let me go ahead and close the poll. And I'm going to go back to the website here, just the home screen. And just pause for any last minute questions. I think we have a question, Tina.
Okay, so what I think you're asking is, on this page, do we see the cost of the refi being built into the this screen? Because we built it and we added the fees to the loan, they are making those payments of the fees monthly, and they're also paying interest on those fees. So that is calculated into that.
So when we're looking at and you can show your customer in the analysis here. Oh, we have the reinvestment and the 20,000 on here. So if we remove the 20,000, we just change this up a little bit to answer that question. But when you come into more info is where you can really analyze with your customer and give them that breakdown. So let me go to one that I had prepared earlier so I can show you. Let me go to my home. This is one that hasn't been altered. So let me go here.
Oh, that's the Debbie Bowie still.
Yeah, that's the one I want. And where is, let's just, I'm just going to tab all the way through. I want to go to presentation really quick and I want to show you and then I will answer that for you. So this is one, this was a sample that I showed you on the mobile device. I just want to quickly move through. There we go. Now jump over. And I want to go to presentation. I want to hover over preview and I want to really show you. So preview. And here's one that was in the sample of the actual mobile device. And it does not have our rate and term. So this was just a sample so to show you how to do it. So when you're looking here, your analysis, when it comes to all the costs, under the short-term analysis is where you can point that out to your customers. So when we look here, how we determine what the net savings is for their refinance. So we take the interest in MI pay. We know there's no MI because our LTV was under the 80% threshold. So we take the interest in MI that the customer's paying across the board, current and all of our comparable products. We add in the closing costs and points because those are unrecoverable costs throughout the transaction. They're not going to be able to recoup that money. So we add those two line items up here to determine the total cost of the loan products. Then once we do that, we subtract the total cost from the highest cost product. So the highest cost product is the current mortgage because they're paying 5% in interest rate, and here was 4.125. So if we do that comparison, your net savings would be ultimately $2,400 plus or $3,200 plus, depending on which product you choose. Awesome. All right, Mark. Great question. Is there any other questions that you guys may have? I'm going to go right back to our home screen and just hang out for a second and for any last calls for any questions. Well, we really do appreciate that you guys did tune in to today's Thursday Q&A session. For all of you here, just want to let you know and point out our YouTube channel. So not only do we have strategies that we provide you every single week within our event calendar, we do live trainings. But if you scroll down to our website, you'll notice here there's a YouTube channel. So you can always come on our YouTube channel to see remnants of those Tuesday calls, best practices, and we will record today's session. And it will be located on our YouTube channel. So if you want to revisit these scenarios and these strategies, definitely tune in and take a look at our recorded link on YouTube.
Fabulous. So it looks like there are no more questions, and we are going to wrap it up and get back to the rest of our day. And I hope you guys go out and make it a great day. I want to see you guys all originating out there. Let's go.
All right, guys. Happy Thursday. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.